Boys and girls, welcome back for day 4 of Science in the Kitchen cooking camp. I can't believe only one day left. Well, actually, I have a surprise for you because on Monday, August the 23rd, from 4 p.m. until 6 p.m., we have a pizza party virtual cooking class for you. So you'll be able to join us on Zoom to meet all the other cooking campers, to meet Chef Giuliano and Katie, and to have fun. We're gonna learn how to make a pizza together. So you get to cook dinner for your family. You're gonna wanna send me an email. Just email Pastor Ashley, ashley@bethelstratford.org. It's right here on the screen, ashley@bethelstratford.org, so that I can send you the Zoom link and password if you want to join us. I'll send it out to you. Join us Monday, August the 23rd from 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. for some games, fun, prizes, and learning how to cook your very own pizza. All right, so now before we begin, what are we going to do? We're going to take time to worship. So if you haven't done that already, remember our reminders. Number 1, worship God with your whole heart. Number 2, enter his presence with joy and thanksgiving. And number 3, you were created to worship. There's more information on all those reminders in your activity booklet, but be sure to take time to do that as a family. And again, find the links at bethelstratford.org/kids. Now, what do we need to get for today? Notebook and pen, you guessed it. You need your workbook, you need your apron, your measuring cups, your ingredients from your box, and your pink bag. So grab all those things and join us right back here to meet with Chef Giuliano and Katie.
Hey Bethel kids, welcome back to Science in the Kitchen for day number 4. Day number 4, Mr. Giuliano.
It's going by so quickly.
So quickly. I hope you guys are still enjoying it. I hope you guys got to taste a little bit of your butter maybe. I know I did. It was pretty yummy, but we saved a lot of it.
That's true.
To have with our sourdough. So I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson too. We learned about community and how having community does impact, and we need it to have growth with God and nurture our growth with God. It's pretty cool learning all this stuff about the bread and how we can kind of see that in a way, and how our life translates too with how we love God and how we grow in that love and how we show that in the world.
Yeah.
Have you been enjoying it, Mr. Giuliano?
I've been loving it.
Great. So why don't then we just get into what we're learning today? Take it away.
So today we're going to take that build that we did yesterday and we're going to make our dough.
Wait, we're making our dough today?
Yes. The dough will be made and we're going to cook it tomorrow. It's going to go into the fridge for a little nap overnight, and we're going to bake it as soon as we start our day tomorrow. So
oh my goodness.
We will start making the dough here, and once again, you're going to get some messy hands, so make sure that they're nice and washed before you start.
Also, maybe your lab coat and your apron, because it's a messy day.
It's true.
Clean hands too, though. Most important.
So, we're going to take our flour.
Ooh. Our nice flour. Make sure you have a bowl ready to put it into.
We're going to put 6 1/4 cups of flour.
That's a lot of flour, but I guess we're making bread, so.
This is going to make 2 loaves of bread.
2 loaves of bread. So what you're saying is we could eat one and even invite a friend over to eat it, but we have another loaf of bread to maybe even give to our neighbors.
Exactly.
Or give to your best friend's family, or give to your grandparents. There's so many options of giving this extra bread that you've made to people. Wow.
So we got 6
cups in here. That's a lot of flour.
measuring cup.
And make sure you grab the quarter measuring cup.
6 1/4 cup.
Okay.
And then you're going to take 2 1/2 cups of water.
And you're going to put it in the same bowl?
Right in the same bowl. So we're mixing this all together.
I'll get the flour kind of even in there. All right, so that's 1 cup of water. 2 cups.
And once again, I don't have a 1/2 cup, so I'm using 2 quarters because there's 4 quarters in 1 cup, so there's 2 quarters and a 1/2 cup.
That's true, and as a scientist and a chef, you should know that, eh? All right. So 2.5 cups of water with our 6 1/4 cups of flour.
And then we're going to take our trusty dusty build. Now, Katie, you just want to show them what it looks like?
I do.
We've got happy microbiology growing.
Did it grow?
So it's nice and fluffy overnight.
Jiggles a bit?
It jiggles a bit. And your sourdough starters will look like this every day when you build them as well. So we're going to take 1 1/3 of a cup of your build here. So you get your 1 cup. And you make sure to get the sides off. Make sure you get all that good stuff in there. Because this is what's going to help your bread rise. This is what's going to make it alive. Right now it's just flour and water, but once we add this, it brings it to life. So 1 1/3 cup.
1 1/3 cup of our build. Wow.
So there it goes.
So what would you do with the rest of that?
You could turn it into pancakes, you could keep it and make more sourdough.
Oh.
You could do so many things with that.
Well then.
And then we're going to take
do something with that.
our trusty dusty tablespoon.
So 1 tablespoon of
1
salt.
tablespoon of salt. And now, get my hands dirty.
Make
roll
sure
up the
you have
sleeves.
someone to help you with rolling up your sleeves.
Now it's very easy for this to go everywhere, but you want to try and keep as much of it as you can in the bowl so we don't lose any bread.
That's true.
You're going to just want to mix it up. And you start nice and slow, just getting it all mixed up. And you get a nice shaggy dough. Now one of the beautiful things about sourdough is you don't have to knead it too much. It actually does its own thing where it, once it's all mixed together, just because of the live microbiology that's going on inside, it just starts to kind of smooth itself out all by itself. But you want to make sure it's mixed really well. You got all your flour in there. So you're really wanting to squish it between your fingers and get it all nice and mixed up.
It's really doughy looking right now.
It is really doughy looking. And it's really sticky and it's going to go all over your fingers.
And it's supposed to be sticky?
Yep.
Okay.
If it's really, really wet, what you can do is add a tiny, tiny bit of water. If it's really, really dry, yes, flour. And if it's really, really dry, you can add a tiny, tiny bit of water. But this recipe should be pretty good to make sure that you have a really nice product at the end of it all.
Because I would say that's not too sticky, or not too wet and not too dry. But again, if you miss that, if your dough is too wet, put a little bit of flour. If it's too dry, then put a little bit of water in it so that you have a doughy texture.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's really in your fingers.
So you're going to get a nice fresh bowl after you're done mixing it all together.
All
Katie,
right.
can you grab one for me?
I can. Is it going to grow?
It is.
Alright, I grabbed this bowl.
And you're going to want to get a little bit of olive oil as well.
Okay.
I forgot to grab these things. The scientist came unprepared.
Alright,
So you got your nice sticky dough.
okay.
And you're going to put a little bit of oil in the bowl. If Katie, you can do that for me. Just a little bit. You don't want a lot. Just enough to grease the bowl so it doesn't stick. That's great. You're going to want to wipe it around a bit with your hand.
Alright, this is where I get my hands dirty, I guess. I'm going to add a little more actually, make sure that's really coated in there. We're not making a pizza, are we?
No.
No, just bread. But could you make a pizza?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you got your bowl nice and oiled.
It's all ready.
You're going to take your dough, pop it in the bowl, and now is the time for patience. So you're going to want to make sure your hands are nice and cleaned off, and your dough is in the bowl. You're going to want to wrap it with saran wrap.
Oh, okay.
And you're going to wait 60 minutes. So
1
hour. And every hour we're gonna fold it for 3 hours.
Wow, so we're gonna have to wait 3 hours?
But what that's gonna do is it's gonna make the dough nice and strong and ready to gain as much flavor and be as hearty and delicious as possible. Just like your relationship with God. The more you work with it and the more you trust in God and build in your relationship with Him, the stronger you get.
Wow. All right, so I'm gonna put some saran wrap over it?
Yep.
Okay. So
I'm gonna wash my hands.
just like we did the night before with the saran wrap, or the day before, we're gonna do that again here. Make sure you have a timer on a phone, or keep an eye on the clock if you're good at watching the clock. And every hour for the next 3 hours, we're gonna be watching it. And we'll be back in the first hour to show you what to do, because there's some folding involved. So we'll see you soon.
Okay kids, back in the science kitchen, ready to fold some dough. So here we have the dough after 1 hour, so it doesn't look a lot different. Looks like the same kind of shaggy dough that we had before, but we're just gonna get our hands in, like so, and pull up from the sides, and then flop it down. I'm gonna show you again. I won't go so high so you can see it better. So I've turned the bowl 90 degrees, and then I'm going up, pulling the whole dough up, flipping it on itself, and rolling it down. So that's it. I've done one fold, and then I turned the bowl 90 degrees and did another fold. A lift in and up from the sides, fold it over itself, turn the bowl in and up from the sides, fold it over itself. Then we're gonna wrap it back with a saran wrap and let it go.
We'll have 2 more turns, folds to do.
Yes. So we'll repeat this process 2 more times.
All right, we'll see you then.
So we're back. 2 hours have elapsed. So we're doing our second fold. That's 60 minutes, 1 fold, 60 minutes, another fold. So same as before, we're gonna come up low, and then we're gonna fold it over itself. And we're gonna turn the bowl 90 degrees. And we're gonna do the same thing. Don't mind Boo Radley.
He just really wants the bread.
So should be starting to see a tight ball forming. That's perfect, that's what we wanna see. We'll be back in 1 more hour.
Bye.
Hi kids. Okay, so we're going to shape the bread. So we've got our bread, we've done 2 folds on it. It has grown quite a bit in size. It's nice and fluffy and it's nice and smooth. It's no longer a shaggy dough. So we're gonna get all around the bowl, pull it out, drop it onto our table. Now you don't want to flour the table yet. So you want to cut the dough in half. And these are gonna be your 2 breads. So we're gonna roll one, and we're gonna roll the other. So you're gonna flip it upside down, and you've already got a triangle. But what you're gonna do is pull the sides out and pull the top up. So you've got more of a triangle. You're gonna fold them all in. So you have a nice little pouch like that. Flip it over. And you're going to roll. So you're gonna push with your hands and pull, and push and pull, and push and pull. Until you create a nice tight ball. Now don't worry, this part does take a bit of practice, but as long as it's in a ball shape, you should be totally good to go. So that is the shaping of the bread. And you want to get a basket or a colander or a bowl and a clean cloth. To dust the cloth with a bit of flour. And this is just so it doesn't stick, because then you're going to be fighting it the whole time tomorrow. So you're going to take your dough and you're going to place it top of the ball into the basket, like so. And you're gonna flour the top of it as well. And that's it. You're gonna take this and you're gonna pop it in the fridge overnight, and we will bake it tomorrow morning. take the other dough, flip it upside down, pull it into a triangle shape. And then you're gonna fold all your bits in, like so. So you got a nice triangle pouch. And then flip it over. And like I said, you're using the back sides of your hands. You just wanna roll it into a ball. And the tighter it is, the better. It's nice and tight, you'll get a really nice, big, tall loaf of bread. There you go, you got a nice ball. Dust your baskets, and the ball goes soft side down into the basket. And there you have it. There's your 2 doughs ready to go for tomorrow. Pop them in the fridge and we'll bake them first thing in the morning.
You guys, it's day 4, and I know we just talked about that, but I'm still so excited because you know what tomorrow is. It's eating the bread. We get to bake the bread and we get to eat it, and I can't wait. We have all these beautiful toppings, and we have these taste buds that God gave us, so thank you. And we get to taste this bread and just see it starting from this and how it grows. You know what? I'm encouraged so much by watching this transformation of this bread in my walk with God and in my nourishment with Him. So today we don't have an extra topping per se that we are talking about. But just like how we made the dough and we had to have patience and the folding and stuff, there's just a lot of things going on. But you know what? It reminded me so much of just the fact that with these toppings, like this, we're making this bread so that we can eat these toppings. Yeah, sure, we could have the toppings by themselves. But, and just like in our lives, we can have, you know, worship and serving and community without God, but they're not as good. And with God, they are amazing. They are so yummy, I guess. The toppings are. Maybe if you're serving someone with bread, you know, your extra loaf, that's pretty yummy. But we have to do these things together, but remember that we have to have the motivation of God. So, just like when we were folding the bread and we had to wait those few hours in between, and you know, it was a process. Actually, you guys may have not done it yet. You might be waiting to do that later. Well, it is a process. I had to wait. And then more waiting to eat the bread. But it reminded me that, you know, in the time of waiting and in our lives and in different seasons, we'll be waiting on answers of prayers, or just throughout the different days. Like we're waiting. But when in those times, we should be serving, we should be worshiping, we should be in our communities, as well as reading our Bibles and praying, because our motivation is God. And so sometimes life can get a little busy, and we might forget that we're doing certain things because of God, not to feel good, not to, you know, get something out of it, because that's the wrong motives. But we're patiently waiting, and we're doing these things, and we're growing our relationship with God as our motivation. All of it for God. So, I do have 2 verses for us to read that's about motivation and about bringing it all together because of God, and to have it for God, and not to get lost in the shuffle of regular days and forgetting that, oh, this is for God. It's important that we are rooted in Him and not just eating the toppings, but we're putting the toppings on the bread. So let's get to it. So if you have your Bibles, again, great. If not, that's okay. We're going to be reading from 1 Corinthians 15:58. All right? Okay. So therefore, my dear brothers and sisters, be steadfast, immovable, and always excelling in the Lord's work, because you know that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. So, when we read this, we know that Paul's encouraging them to not be shaken by the world and to just keep going forward with God and doing his works, because that's what he's asking of us. And we know that if we do it for God, it's not going to be tiring, or it might be tiring, it might be challenging. But there should be joy in that, because it's for God. You shouldn't be all like, it's for God. So you should be joyful about it and feel the honor in that. It's really exciting. Okay, so our next verse, our last verse for the day, is Colossians 3:23. Nope, I turned to the wrong page. Colossians 3:23. Okay. Whatever you do, do it from the heart, as something done for the Lord and not for people. So, just like I was talking about the other verse, in ways that whatever we do, we have to do it from our heart. And who created our heart? God. And who wants our heart and loves our heart more than anyone? God does. And so when we do things from the heart, it's amazing, and not for people. Because sometimes when we do things for people, we get expectations built. And maybe we're impatient. And maybe we forget certain things. We forget that we're doing it for God. We forget to put the topping on the bread, basically. And then we can get hurt, and we might fall into a slump. And those are the cases where we stop reading our Bibles and stop worshiping and stop serving. Altogether, no bread and no toppings, because we are putting our hope and trust in men, and we are wanting to do things for people without the aspect of God in it. And that can hurt us sometimes. But when we turn it around, and when we put God as our forefront, and when we put him in mind, when we are serving others, I'm not saying to not serve others and help others, because we're serving them to serve God. And that's the most important part. To have motivation of God in everything we do. And to not forget that we need to have worship and serve others and community. But with those, we need to read our Bibles. And we need to be praying, and we need to put it all together, because otherwise they're just separate, but together it's all just so great and yummy and grows into this beautiful thing. So I hope you guys really enjoyed, or if you haven't done it today, really enjoy just the folding and the shaping, and that you remember that it all comes together for God. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. I hope you are wearing your lab coats, your party hats, or your pajamas, or whatever time of day you bake your bread at. But just have some fun with it. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.